Welcome again to Talking to the Void and... Or should I call this one, What the Hell Have I Been Watching? So, today's movie is Phantasm. 1979 cult classic that spawned, I believe, 4 sequels. And directed by Don Coscarelli, who's got some interesting movies in his repertoire that I've been fond of, including John Dies at the End and Bubba Hotep. But this was one of his original claims to fame, and I don't even know what the heck I just watched. So, this is one of those movies where, having watched it, I feel I know even less about the movie than when I started. Now, I have actually seen Phantasm 2 a couple years ago, and I don't actually remember too much about it, but I remember being a little bit confused, and figured once I got around to watching the original, that would clear it up. Nope. Okay, this movie kind of just plunges you right into the deep end, and demands that you swim. Not only that, there's no shoreline in sight on this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna start by kind of going over how the movie begins, and let you kind of decide from there what you think. So, it opens with sex in a cemetery, like you do, and the woman kills the man at the end, revealing that they're actually a man, and are one of our main villains. From there, it cuts to the funeral of said man, with a kid on a motorcycle coming in to spy on it. Stay with me. He sees the body being stolen by said creepy man. And then we go to a jam session between an ice cream man and one of the other funeral goers. Still with me? Because there's when I started losing track. Because after that, the kid's going to a fortune teller to get nonsensical advice that'll help in the climax. Okay, so, the movie's called Phantasm. I don't know why. It doesn't reference the title in any way, shape, or form. There's no being or entity called the Phantasm. The main villain would be the Tall Man, played by Angus Scrimm, and that is really the standout performance of this movie, is the Tall Man. He is a great villain. I just wish I knew what the heck he was doing, or what he could do. Okay, so, as far as I could gather from watching the film, it's mostly about the kid who was on a motorcycle and his older brother. Now, their friend just passed away, and there's some strange goings on at the funeral home involving corpse theft. And the kid gets in over his head, trying to spy and figure out what's going on, and begins being pursued by the tall man, who is the perpetrator of the crimes. So that's kind of the heart of the movie, the kid, Michael, his older brother, Jody, trying to deal with now being stalked and harassed by the tall man, because they are learning his secrets. If they know his secrets, I wish they would share them with me, because... Okay, so, from what I can tell, the tall man is trying to steal bodies so he can turn them into 3-foot-tall dwarf slaves to transport to another planet as slave labor. I think that's what the movie's giving me. I'm pretty sure. Who the tall man is, I don't know. What the tall man can do seems to be like everything. Okay, so tall man's abilities include, from what I've seen from watching, super strength. He was able to lift a 500-pound casket by himself. Okay. He's apparently immortal. There are pictures of him in an antique shop dating back for quite a while. He seems to be able to regenerate. He had some fingers severed. Those came back. His blood's yellow, I guess. He can send nightmares, apparently. Maybe the characters are just having nightmares. Kind of unclear. kind of unclear. He seems to be able to do some sort of illusions, including making himself look like sexy lady to lure people in to kill them, to make more funerals, to get more bodies. He seems to have some sort of telekinesis. He was knocked some people flying at range. Then his most iconic ability, he's got these weird metal spheres that fly around and drill into people's brains and kill them by draining all their blood. I'm not sure if those are directly his or if just something he has. And strangely enough, his severed fingers, which never stopped moving, transformed into some sort of strange bug-like monster to continue attacking our heroes. So the list of what this guy can do is pretty long, and I don't even know if I've seen it all. This was a strange movie. Let's see. I don't really know what his end goal was or why the main characters were so keen to thwart him. He just seems to be taking cadavers, rather. I mean, he's luring people into death to get more cadavers, I guess, so that should be stopped. But otherwise, he seems to be largely acting on his own and is just sinister because he's sinister. And I can't really discuss the ending on this one because I'm not sure if I properly understood the ending. It goes to a point, which, like most horror movies get to, where you think the villain's taken care of. Okay, cool, I'm with you. However, then it cuts to the main character, then one of the characters waking up. Now, it leaves it kind of unclear of whether the movie happened or if the movie was a dream, or if one of the characters who you thought was dead is now alive, but one of the characters you thought was alive is now dead, and the tall man's still coming after the kid. I don't even know. I'm usually good with baffling movies, but this one was up there. Now, this one was a cool 90 minutes, but it felt longer. Oh, boy. I know this one's, like, it's a classic, and, like I said, it did well enough to get several sequels, and, like, there are elements about it that I did like, but it was pretty out there even for me in terms of nonsensibility. I have heard that the second one is actually a little bit more coherent and helps with that, so I might need to revisit it just to see if now I get it. But other than the plan to make corpseified dwarf slaves for extraplanetary labor, I don't know what the point was. 70s are weird, I guess. Also, question, back in the 70s, was it common to have sex in graveyards? Just asking. It happens twice in this one movie. Once I could see, but twice? I don't know. So, this one, I wanted to rate it higher. I wanted to like this one more than I ended up doing, but with how confused this movie left me feeling, and it was kind of unsatisfying in that regard. So, even though Angus Scrimm's performance as the Tall Man was standout, and I would say he is a great villain, I'm only going to have to give this one to 2 MacGuffins. It's lacking, unfortunately. This is the second one of those classic movies that I was hoping to like more than I actually did. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. Well, I guess that's it to say on this one. Hopefully when I get around to Phantasm 2, plus I have a higher opinion of them. But as of right now, Don, you let me down. Alright, take care.